Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan, and today we're going to be talking about the survey playbook, my favorite marketing strategy for small businesses. This playbook has generated my clients over 50,000 red hot leads over the last few years. And I'm going to walk you through exactly what it is, how it can be built, and how you can install it into your business. So before we get stuck into it, just a quick introduction for those of you that are new here. I'm Dan, I'm co-founder of Orbit 100. We work with online business owners to scale their revenue without the need for cold outreach, cold DMs, or spamming anybody. Also without the need for complex funnels or building out a large team. We are massive fans of high revenue, but high margins, high amounts of flexibility and freedom, and of course, lots of fun working with clients that you love. So if that sounds like a bit of you, in the description, you can click on the link and we can tell you a bit more about what we do. And let's get stuck into it. Okay, so the survey playbook, what on earth is this? So this has three specific components to it. Component number one, we have a market research survey. And I'm going to run through exactly what that is and how we put it together in a moment. The second part is the very important analysis of the survey. And then the final component is the, I'm going to say workshop, but it could be a workshop or it could be a webinar. And that is the playbook. Effectively, what we want to do is we want to create a bunch of leads. We want to get a bunch of information, a bunch of data. We want to analyze that data, and then we want to use that data to promote and deliver and execute a fantastic workshop, which in the end will give us lots of revenue. Like I said before, this specific playbook has generated over 50,000 leads for my clients over the last few years. And after generating all those leads, it's turned into millions of dollars of revenue. I would recommend doing this every 6 months. So let's talk about the survey first. So there's two parts to the survey. One part is the data, and then the other part is the distribution. Now, if we focus on the data first, so when it comes to collecting data with a survey, we want to treat this like a market research survey. So the best way to think about this is if you think about a sales call, a traditional sales call, take what you want to get from a sales call and implement it into this survey. Now, what on earth do I mean by that? So let's run through the different aspects of a sales call. So first we want to qualify. So we want some qualification questions in here. So we want to know about the person, we want to know about their business or their life or where they live or their age or whatever kind of demographics you need in your business to qualify this individual to know that they could potentially be a client of yours. So we want to gather that information. Then what we want to do is understand what their goals are. So we want to ask them questions around what it is that they're trying to achieve as it pertains to the type of business that you run. Now, if you run a business that helps people lose weight, you don't want to be asking people what their career goals are. As an example, you want to make sure that the questions are tied to the service that you deliver. So we want to ask them about their goals, their aspirations. Then, of course, like a very good sales call, we're then going to dig into the problems and the barriers and the pains that stop people achieving their goals. So we want to understand what keeps them awake at night. What are the things that maybe they've tried before in the past that haven't gone well? What are the things that maybe have gone well? So we really want to dig into their past experience, again, associating this with the service that you offer. And then what we want to do, and this is really important, is we want to ask them some nicely worded questions related to the service that you offer. So things like, if there was something in the market that did A, B, and C, what would you think about it? Or if there was something that solved this particular problem, would this be something you'd be willing to hear more about? And what we want to do there is we want to get a sense check of, is this person someone who is struggling with the things that I can help them with? And if they are they keen to talk to someone about it? Are they keen to solve this problem? And in the survey, to collect the data, we can have some free text fields, of course, but what we want to do is we want to utilize the different types of questions we can ask. So we can have multiple selects potentially. Some people might not have one goal. As an example, they might have multiple. The other thing we can do is we can do sliding scale from a 1 to a 10. So we can say, if we could solve this problem for you tomorrow, on a scale of 1 to 10, how amazing would that be? And what we do there is we can gauge by the responses of the questions where someone is with regards to the service that you offer. So that's the data that we want to collect. Think about a sales call, and then we basically reverse engineer that into questions. The next part is, once we've created the survey, the next thing that we want to do is distribute this as far and wide as we possibly can. I can't stress the importance of doing this. This is where the number of leads that you generate goes from 30 to 300. It's all around distribution. And that's not just putting it up on a social media post and thinking that everyone's going to fill it in. This is being really intentional with getting this to market. So this is sending it to previous clients. This is sending it to all the leads that you've ever spoken to. This is sending it to the WhatsApp groups that you're in. This is putting it into Facebook groups. This is messaging it to people who have downloaded a free resource in the past. This is sending it to your email list. This is putting it onto your stories. This is putting it onto your social media posts. We really want to make sure that we're getting this to as many people as we can. And if we can do this one-to-one, even better. So if you can message someone and say, hey, I'm putting together this new offer, I'm putting together this new service, I'd really love some feedback, and I think you will be a good person to ask. They are 10 times more likely to answer that and fill in the survey than if you just put it into a WhatsApp group that they were in. So the more people you can ask one-to-one, the better. Maybe go through your DMs, look at all the people that you've had conversations with in the past. We want to get as many people to fill this out as possible. My rule of thumb is 100 people. If you can get 100 people to fill this in, we can generate at least 3 to 5 clients on the other side of it, maybe even more. So that's the distribution. Leave no stone unturned. Distribute, distribute, distribute. And once we've done the distribution, then we move on to the analysis. And the analysis is really important. This was something that we did 5 years ago manually, and now we have Claude or ChatGPT or whatever language model you're using that can basically analyze the data from this survey. And what we want to do with that analysis is we want to do 2 things. So number 1, we want to improve our offer, our positioning, the work on our ideal client profile, and then of course our service. So we can take this feedback, and then what we can do is we can look at what are the things we can learn to make sure that our offer is hitting the right notes with the people who actually want our service. We can alter our positioning. We can then tweak our ideal client profile if we need to based on the answers we get back. This is why I say it's good to do this once every 6 months, because you're always tinkering with our offer, with our positioning. So if you do this every six months, it means that we're always staying relevant and up to date with exactly what our market and our audience and our network are actually asking for, which is really important. We always want our offer to land with what people want. Give the people what they want is the short of it. So that's one way that we can use the analysis. And then the second thing we can do with the analysis is we can decide what is the workshop we're going to run. What are the themes for the workshop that we're going to run off the back of this? And you might have one giant theme that comes out of the data. There might be one problem that everybody is screaming about and it becomes really obvious. If it's not obvious and there's multiple, you can maybe thread a few of those together to create an umbrella that deals with multiple themes. I think this, again, just to give you an example, we worked with a business, and what they did was they helped parents navigate their children being online and all of the dangers that come with having kids that are online. So they coached parents. And when they went through this process, the big thing that came out of it was screen time. Parents were really terrified about the amount of time their kids were spending on screen time. So the theme for the workshop was all around reducing the amount of screen time and having a better relationship with your children when it comes to talking about it. But then underneath that, within the workshop, we also ticked off a few more themes like the manosphere and a few other things that came out of the survey. That was an amazing case study for this. They had 700 people register for the workshop, which was amazing. So that's what we want to do. We want to put together what our theme is going to be for our workshop. So then the workshop itself has two key purposes. Purpose number one is to deliver massive amounts of value. Let's make this workshop deliver something unbelievably useful to your audience based on what they filled in the survey. If we deliver a workshop that's nothing to do with the survey that we actually created, then we miss a massive opportunity. Again, like I said before, give the people what they want. So we want to pack it full of value. And then of course, what we want to do is we want to use this as an opportunity to offer our service. Now, inside of Orbit 100, we call workshops and webinars invitations to land. As part of working with us, one of the things we do with all the business owners we work with is that we put in place a system using different pieces of content structured in a specific way to bring leads in, warm them up, and get them ready to say yes. This workshop or webinar is an opportunity to show people behind the curtain of what it is that you're working on with clients, what your service is all about, so you can wow them with the value and then offer our service so that they get to say yes. And if we follow this all the way through, there are a few points within this where we can actually potentially jump in and pick up clients along the way. So in the survey, if one of the questions that you ask is, if a solution like this was on the market, would it be something you'd be keen to explore? And they answer yes, or on a sliding scale, they answer 10. Then before you even get to the workshop, you reach out to those people and say, hey, I noticed that you said this. We actually have something brewing. Would you like to have a conversation about it? So all throughout this process, you're going to identify red hot leads. But the great thing about the workshop is that even people that are lukewarm, even people that are not screaming and knocking your door down for the solution, the workshop gives us an opportunity to warm those people up and get them to a point where they actually make a purchase. And the beauty of this whole thing, like I said, is that you can do this once every 6 months. That would be my recommendation. It means that you're constantly refreshing your offer, your positioning, your ideal client, your service. But it also gives you an opportunity every 6 months to not only add massive amounts of people to your email list, which is a whole other video, but it also gives us an opportunity to sell our services and give people a peek behind the curtain. Now, we strongly recommend having opportunities for people to see what it's like working with you at least once a quarter, if you can do once a month. So this would form part of an overarching strategy, which again is on a separate training. And this is the survey playbook. 50,000 leads, millions of dollars of revenue. You can take this as it is and put it straight into your business and execute it tomorrow. You can drop me a DM on LinkedIn and ask me any questions about this. I'll be happy to answer them. As always with this, I want you guys to go out there, crush it, get lots of leads, make lots of sales, make lots of revenue, but done in a way. This way here means we're not having loads of sales calls. It means we're not spamming people to death. This style is you're asking people for feedback, you're taking that feedback, you're turning it into an opportunity to show people what it's like working with you and ultimately turning them into clients. Best of luck with it. Let me know how you get on. And if this seems like the kind of strategy that's right up your street and building a business that has high profit, high revenue, high amounts of flexibility and freedom, and lots of fun, then drop me a DM with the word Orbit. We can have a conversation about how we can help you scale your business in a way that you really enjoy.